Wow, that's really shaky. I don't know how much adjusting I can do here. 334 Outdoors. Greetings back. Welcome, everyone, to the June live stream. I come to you today. Yes, I'm outside, but I'm on my back deck. Not fishing today. I have an opportunity to go visit my mom today, so thought I'd take the day off from fishing and, get out, visit some family. Haven't seen her for a while, so it'll be nice to have a visit with her and my grandmother. Take the little boy out there and just have a good day with family. Tomorrow, however, I'm going fishing, and I believe Kevin and I are fishing together. Apparently my neighbors are chatting. So tomorrow Kevin and I are going to be fishing, and I'm going to be going out and baiting up the spot this afternoon on my way to my grandmother's. So yeah, it'll be nice. Today's your great-grandmother's birthday. Well, pass a happy birthday on to her. Adam, how's it going? Good to see you. Cheers, everyone. My neighbors never actually make any noise in their backyard ever. And of course, as soon as I go live, they decide to have a big loud conversation. Monster Carp Tackle, Team Savage. Yes, today Team Savage is in full effect, represented by Dave doing the challenge series, and he is doing very well. A little bit more on the challenge series later. I actually have a whole list and then some of topics to discuss today, and the Carp Society's challenge series is something I'm going to talk about a little bit, seeing as I've already done my challenge for round one. That was last week, so I'll let you know how that went. But yeah, as I mentioned, Dave is doing really well today, and judging by the messages coming back, it might even get better for him. So best of luck to him and his competitor, Ryan Ginter in Manitoba. This is a matchup that I think we were all excited to see, because neither one of us wanted to be up against either one of these two. Both really, really, really good anglers. Dave Newman, how's it going? Good to see you in there. 334 Outdoors, how's fishing been up there? It's been on fire here. To be honest with you, I'm gonna put this as simply as I can. It absolutely has been on fire for us here as well, but it's still early yet. Things really haven't even kicked off yet. Some fish are just starting to spawn. Others have finished. Others haven't even started yet. Our big river spots, fish haven't even started moving on them yet. That's not for another week or two. So yeah, it's been on fire and it hasn't even kicked off yet. So there's your answer to that. Dave Newman, Jeff is 2 in. Okay, so Jeff from Fat Boys is competing against Nathan, who's with improved carp angling. So when it comes down to it, yeah, we've got a couple challenges going on today. Jeff and Nathan is another one of my favorite matchups for the challenge series. So just given that the two of them are very laid back guys, but just love their fishing, it's hard to say really who's going to take that one. Both people who are really into what they're doing. They're trying new things. They're trying new places. That's a matchup I'm actually excited to see the outcome of. Adam, you're absolutely right. Never really know with the spawn. Now, I apologize, guys, as I touch the keyboard or move anything around to look at my notes and stuff. This is going to shake. I got a brand new laptop so that I can, one, be a little bit more mobile with the live streams when possible. Also, I've been doing a lot of writing lately. Some of it fishing wise. We'll get into that a bit later, and some of it more with my art. I'm getting a little bit back into that as well. So trying to go back into some of the old independent comic industry a bit, and I've been working on a couple of stories that I've had in my brain for a while. So the new laptop is something I'm still getting used to. Bear with me if anything freezes up or anything like that. Let's see here. 334 Outdoors. Okay, hang on a second here. Let me just go back. Monster Carp Tackle, Wayne and Andrew. So Wayne and Andrew from the Carp Society are both going against each other. So Wayne being here in Ontario, Andrew being in Quebec. I'm not sure if he's actually fishing in Quebec, but they're having their challenge today too. So that's good to hear. And Shelby, who I don't even know who Shelby was paired up against. Shelby has been on a big fish run lately. She's been doing really well. Definitely don't want to be one of the ones competing against her or Alicia. To the ladies in the Carp Society, they've really, really been standing out as big fish anglers lately. Really, really good matchups coming on, and I think it goes till the 20th. But 334 Outdoors, you've had over 100 fish in 10 days, broke your PB 4 times, and picked up a PB Blue Cat last night. That is nuts. Kappa, good to see you. What's up with you? But 334 Outdoors, your topic, your little comment there, that actually brings me into my first topic on my list, and that's been my season so far. As we've mentioned, it's been on fire. I've had a really good season so far, and like I said, it's still early. It's only not even halfway through June. We're still the early part of June. I've been keeping track. I don't have my carp notes up here with me. They're down in the bag, and I have 2 fish to add to that I've had so far. But I'm over 60 fish for the season. Yeah, over 60 fish for the season. Yeah, most of the spots that we fish haven't even started yet. So I've been doing a lot of solo missions, fishing with Dave as much as I can, fishing with Kevin as well. And Kevin is over 60 fish for the season as well. LP, good to see you there. So yeah, it's really been a great season so far. We've really not gone anywhere to actually target big numbers. We've not even gone anywhere to target necessarily big fish. We've just been going out and enjoying. When we did the SSF, which we'll talk about in a bit, we got into some good fish and numbers. Then I did my challenge the other day. I had 14 fish. It was great. So just really been enjoying the spring overall, not really looking to have any big smash up days, and yet we've had them. So yeah, the season has been going really, really well. Obviously with the pandemic, it's made things a lot more difficult because we can't get together for big socials. But as of yesterday, a lot of the restrictions have listed for phase 1. So when it comes down to it, some of the socials are going to actually start happening. Okay. Kappa 60. Last fish I caught was in October. Well, once everything opens up and gets you the chance to get out there, man, you can go out and get 60 in a session. Make us all look bad. Dave, you just broke 40 fish for the season. Excuse me, that's good to hear. Yeah, Cap, I agree on that note for sure. 334 Durs. Is there any word on when MCT will get more alarms in? I don't have the word on that. Hopefully, Monster Carp Tackle can respond to that. Apologies. He is in the middle of a challenge right now, Dave, who's representing Monster Carp Tackle right now. He's in a challenge. He could be into a fish right now, so if you don't get an answer right away, don't worry. But if you do drop a message on the Monster Carp Tackle Facebook page, just shoot him a message, ask him about it. They can look into it for you. You got into fish with Ian, the president of CAG, this week, and Monday he did almost 50 fish in 12 hours. That's insane. We've done that here, not very often, but sometimes you just have those sessions and everything gels. And yeah, that's the bonus of carp fishing in North America. You can have sessions like that and it's just on fire. There you go. 334 Outdoors. They're going to reach out to Jeff on that. Jeff's the one who runs Monster Carp Tackle. So some information will be gathered for that, it looks like, and hopefully we'll get that passed on to you. LP, can't wait to walk around with no restrictions. Going to make things a lot easier. Well, walking will make things a lot easier. I'm glad to hear that your foot is healed up really, really well, and hopefully you'll be 100% soon. Oh, Cappy, you got spawning going on over there as well. So, yeah, but once things open up, then fish are going to be hungry, right? So that should give you a chance, hopefully. But yeah, as far as the season so far goes, it sounds like some of us are doing really well. Some of us have yet for it to kick off. Fish are coming out, and it's exciting, and that's what we're all in it for, right? We're not always in there to have the big hits over the course of the year. We're not always in it to have the monster fish or that record-breaking fish. Just love to get out and get a tug on the end of that line. LP, Doc said it will never get back to 100%. Prove them wrong. Plain and simple, prove them wrong. You work hard enough, you get back to 100%. 99% is not 100%, but you won't notice the difference. So there you go. Dave Newman, we're doing a CHCH News Morning Live Friday, airing Monday. Oh, okay, cool. So Fat Boys are going to be doing a little bit. You did that about ice fishing once in the past, right? And now you're going to do that about carp fishing, just to help kind of get it out there in the public. It's good to hear. CHCH being local out of Hamilton, I believe. Kappa, exactly. A fish is a bonus, being there is the reward. I see the fish as being the reward, but being there is definitely why I'm there. Just being out makes a huge difference. 90% of your fish spawned over a month ago and had fish spawning on your spots last night. Yeah, but you're like Florida, right? So the temperature is a lot different there than it is here. I could sit out here for days on end and not hear a peep from my neighbors. And today they're talking on this side and they're hammering on that side. It's nuts. LP, is that a carp fishing chair? Yes, this is my Witchwood. I can't remember the high back tactical chair. I probably haven't used it in a year. It's too tall for my brawlies that I like to take out. Because I'm a tall guy, I need a tall chair. But I have short bivvies. My Daiwa brawly is really short. My Tempest brawly is incredibly short. It's a Tempest V1. So I'm at the point now where I think I got to look at that Tracker Tempest 100T, that really tall version, and do a bit of an upgrade there myself. Just so I can fit myself comfortably, not having to hunch like this all the time. Be able to sit on my bed chair or bring a regular chair in. I think I need to upgrade to that, and then maybe my Tempest V1 I can pass on to my son or on to Dave. I have a lot of shelters. I don't need as many. I just need them to be practical. 93 as you speak. Temperature-wise, 93? That's what it was in my shop at work yesterday. That was insane. The heat just killed me this week. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm glad to see that you're there. Let's see. When I wrote out my notes this morning for topics to discuss, I didn't put them in order. I just kind of put them in the notes as it came to me. So let's see here. We covered the season so far. It's going well. One thing I did want to bring up really quickly. You'll buy one off of me. I'm not going to be selling them to Florida. I'm going to either pass one to my son or to Dave, somebody in my close circle, just to make sure that the people that I know need them have them. However, there are more coming in at Carp Kit. So if you go to carpkit.com later in the month, there is another order coming. So there will be some new shelters and stuff in there. Just had a really nice Rod Hutchinson one posted on the website. So check that out. They will ship to the U.S. So yeah, I had one topic I wanted to bring up. Just something I've noticed. I've noticed it slowly since about mid-April, but the last few weeks it's really been noticeable. It's really been quite drastic, actually. So with YouTube making some changes, there was a bunch of different changes that happened, and I'm not even up to date on all of them. But one of the things that was there is that all views in by U.S. viewers, regardless of where you are in the world, if the U.S. viewers are watching your channel, and that's a monetized video where you can potentially be making some income off of it, it turns out that you can be taxed on the views by the American viewers. So had to go through and fill out some forms and stuff like that to acknowledge that that's okay. Otherwise, they were going to take like a massive chunk out of the income that comes in from the generated revenue off the videos. Sucks, but that's how it is. And, it's not my platform. I'm just using it. So I got to follow the rules. But once that happened, I noticed, and I've spoken to a few other YouTubers, and they haven't noticed it to the same effect that I have. Everybody's noticed a bit of a drop, but the drop to the Anglerfiles channel has been actually quite steep. Overall, we would typically get between 3.9 thousand and 4.7 thousand views a month on the channel. Dave's going to weigh an upgrade. Excellent to hear. But yeah, in between that 3.9 and 4.7 thousand views on the channel per month. And that's not just like new videos. That's the whole catalog. Keep in mind, I have over 300 videos on the channel over the past 8 years. So there's some of those ones like the Black Widow rod review that I did. That would typically get like 800 views a month, sometimes even more. That number of views per month has dropped down to about 2.9. So we're just over 1,000 views less per month over the course of the whole channel that I can't explain. It started happening slowly at the end of April, happened a little bit more through to about halfway through May. And then like the last week of May up until now, it's just been a real sharp decline. Revenue obviously is down because of that. And, the channel doesn't generate much, but it's enough to help buy new camera equipment, batteries, and things like that we need. When I look at the locations, the geographical locations of where the majority of views are, the U.S. obviously being the third biggest follower, Canadians, then UK, then Americans, and then kind of everything else throughout the rest of the world after that. US had a really, really sharp drop in viewership of this channel. UK stayed about the same. Canada dropped quite a bit as well. Not sure why, but Canada didn't drop anywhere near the amount that the Americans did. So as soon as this whole tax thing kind of started with American viewership, whatever the algorithm was that YouTube put in place, changed the ability for the Americans to see the videos, I'm assuming, because I do see all the same comments from the same people. So I know that the people who really want to watch this, the channel and the content that we put out, I know that they're seeing it because they're responding, they're interacting. You guys are there in the chat right now, for example. Those loyal followers are there. I'm not worried about that. It's the ones that are not subscribed, the ones that don't really follow necessarily, but obviously non-subscribers make up a huge percentage of your viewership, and it seems like the content's not getting to them, for whatever reason. So I'm just going to put this out there as a simple request for those of you watching from the US. If you like the content that we're putting out there, and I'm not just talking about these live streams where we get to interact a little bit, as fun as this is for me, but like I said, we've got over 300 videos going back over 8 years. Please share some of them. if you like it and you think some of the people that you hang out with or some of the people that you know might like or learn from or just be entertained by the content that we put out, share the videos on your social media, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. Let's just see if we can bring that US number up a little bit and see if we can kind of beat that algorithm that has made the changes so far. But bottom line is, I still appreciate that everybody is watching and enjoying the content that we're putting out there. I love the messages that I get from all of you guys. It really is appreciated. And it helped me continue the drive to want to do more different things. I've said before that when I do this channel is done for me. It helps me cope with depression and anxiety and gives me focus to always have something to look forward to, something to work on that I know I need to get out there. But the fact that everyone seems to like it and responds well to it, you guys are the ones that help dictate the style of content, the techniques that we might use, or the fish that we might chase, and things like that. So you guys are very much a helpful part of what I'm putting out there, not just why I'm putting it out there. So I really appreciate it. And, please continue to follow, continue to share it, and continue to send that feedback, because the feedback obviously helps. Sometimes it creates some really great ideas that we can share and get out there. Like 334 Outdoors wanting that river, how to fish rivers for carp project. That's a wicked idea. We've started dabbling with some things so far. Dave's gone out and shot a little bit of stuff. I've tried shooting a little bit of stuff. None of it's really gelling yet. But like I said, most of our spots haven't really kicked off yet. The big river here doesn't even start producing carp. There's always that little window in the winter, and then it just shuts off until about the end of June, beginning of July. So we're going to be back at that project soon, and hopefully we can get things to start falling into place. Hopefully with some big fish too. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about on the channel activity. I'm not going to drone on about that. It's just something I wanted to mention, something I wanted everyone to be aware of. I'm going to keep the content going. I have lots of content coming up. That's not going to stop. It's not even really going to slow down. I might not put out as many long videos. I might be putting out a few shorter ones just to make sure that I can keep the content going steady. I'm trying to do a whole bunch in advance so that they can kind of be released over the course of the season. And that will give me more time to tinker with some of those art projects that I was talking about earlier. Because I really need to get back into that. I miss that. I miss the people that I did that with. So yeah, I want to be able to dabble with some more creative things. And the best way to do that is to be well ahead of the game with the fishing videos. So with that said, I believe last week or the week before, the last video we put out was the Pine Point project, our first session there between Dave and I. Now, if you saw that video, let me know. What did you guys think of it? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the idea of us going in and documenting a brand new swim? Because that's what this project is all about. We're going to try and visit at least once a month through the season and document our visits to that spot. Let's see here. 334 Outdoors. Yes, I believe it still does work with premium, because that's a completely different service. I think it follows a different algorithm. Yeah, work schedule definitely screws with things. That's why I'm making some changes on my end to try and be more, have more stuff done in advance. Okay, if you don't have notifications on, click that little bell icon, put the notifications on, then you'll see it. But yeah, the Pine Point project is it's a swim that I found last year while I was walking around in an area that we typically fish for carp, but I was walking around looking for pike, casting lures in November. And I just walked, and I was casting spinners and jigs, and nothing was happening. And then I came across this path that goes into the woods, and I know that it's going to come out at the water somewhere. So I thought I would just follow this really narrow, overgrown trail. It doesn't look like it gets used often. Obviously, we know there's people that get in there because there's always a campfire and a little bit of garbage left in that we always clean up on our way out. But I just thought I'd follow this trail all the way in and see where it went. And it opened up to a couple of different swims. Two of them are really fast water, not really practical to touch. And then one of them, the one we called Pine Point, because of these massive pine trees, both in the swim with us and across from us. And it's a gorgeous spot. And it has everything you look for in water as a carp angler. It's got slack shallows. It's got overhanging snags. It's got deep water. It's got shallow humps. It's got fast current. It's got current breaks. It's got rocky shoreline. It's got silty bottom. It's got everything. It really has everything. So when we did that first session, it was cold. It was not a good day. The weather was crap, and we still produced fish, and that was exciting. It was really exciting. And at the end of that video, like Dave mentioned, there's just so much that we like about that spot. We wanted to keep going. We have, in fact, filmed the second part. So we went back at the beginning of this month, beginning of June, for a second session there. And that one went a little bit unexpected. Obviously, at this point, all the foliage on the trees is out. That trail that was overgrown and narrow, I was pretty much just kind of crouching. And we actually take you through a walk up about the last third of the trail into the swim. And I'm literally holding the camera down by my feet because it's so overgrown. It was awesome. But we had fish. We definitely had some fish. You'll have to watch the video to see how that went. I haven't even edited it yet. I've seen some of the footage. It's cool. It's really cool. So that one's going to be coming up in a while. They're going to be spread out. We're going to keep with the every 2-week schedule. The only thing that really breaks the 2-week schedule is the live stream, which is the second Saturday of every month. Last month it was different because I wanted it to coincide with the SSF, with what we were doing. That's the only reason that was changed. But we're going to be continuing with our normal schedule going forward. Now, before the Pine Point 2 project comes out, we do have 2 other videos to come out, both from the same location. It's one of Dave's spots, and it's a spot that I fished it before, but not that particular side of the water. So I've never gone to that. I guess that would be the western bank of that area. I've always fished the eastern bank. Yeah. And when he took me in there, it was kind of the anticipation of let's try and catch these big fish as they come in to get ready for the spawn in this bay. The first video that we did there, Dave and I fished together. We had a great time. We had a bunch of fish. The wind came up on us and just destroyed us at the end of the day. But fish came out. We still had a lot of fun, and it was a great, comfortable spot to be in. I went back, I believe, a week later and did a solo session there, and I had a bunch of fish, and it was a great time, and I really enjoyed it. Both times we had some issues with kayakers and canoers and boaters. It just got worse from there as the weather got better. So when we did the May live stream, that's the location we were in for these 2 videos that we've shot. And as you saw in that May live stream, there was people everywhere. It was absolute insanity with how many people showed up. So I made the choice to not go back to that location anymore this season. Funny enough, the challenge series that came up where it was myself against another angler named Tyler, he went to that location. So yeah, he went and he dealt with the people and the boaters and the canoeists, and he had a good session, just as I did. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going back there with so many people out. And now that restrictions have been lifted, people are going to be out in full force. One of my favorite spots is like 2 blocks from here. Like if Kevin and I were to leave our houses at the same time and walk to this spot, we'd get there at the same time because he's on the other side of the river than I am. The river's just over here. So we would love to go over there and fish there tomorrow, but there's going to be thousands of people in that park not doing it at all. So we're going to go somewhere else tomorrow. So yeah, we've got those 3 videos coming, the 2 from Dave's spot, 1 from Pine Point, part 2. There's a few other things we're working on that we kind of have in production right now, where we've shot the first parts of it, and we have to go back for 1 or more sessions to continue. One of which is a project we're calling Bosch Bay. This is a fun one. Dave and I have been having a good time with it. He's done a lot of filming about the pre-baiting in that spot, and I have gone in with him, and we did one very short session where it was technically a pre-baiting session, but we fished really hard the morning of the May live stream. Had to get away from those people. We went to this spot, and it was probably the most serenity I've had fishing in a long time. And we just kicked back and put some lines out, baited up nice and heavy, and sat there and then listened to the lake. It was great. So this Bosch Bay project that we're working on, we have kind of all the footage leading up to the efforts going into getting it ready. 1 session so far. Now we're going to have to go back into a pre-baiting pattern and get a full session in, or even an overnight session in there, because we want that reward. We want to be able to finish out with a bang in that spot. So not sure when that's going to get done. Schedules will allow when we can actually line all that up, but the Bosch Bay video that we're working on will come out at some point once we have some fish there. Another one we're working on, we actually started working on the other day. I get a lot of responses that people really love the Park Lake stalking videos that I did in the past. I haven't done them for a while, and I think last year the one I did was with the fly rod, so it wasn't really the same. But people really like the stalking videos from the Park Lake. So Dave and I went and started shooting another one. This time, Dave's behind the camera, and he's kind of shooting it his way, and I'm just there to be in find fish mode and catch them. So far, we've had one. Went to a bunch of swims, had lots of fish activity. They're just starting to get ready for spawn in there. So we're going to go back one day next week. If they're spawning, we're going to leave them alone. If not, we're going to continue this on until we get a few fish in a few different swims, and hopefully put together a nice Park Lake stalking video again, just because there's a demand for it. People seem to really enjoy it, and I absolutely love doing that. That spot's such a magical place for me. I absolutely love it. Now, mentioning that spot, that Park Lake, this kind of brings me into my next topic to discuss. Oops, sorry, shaking it. And that's the Canadian Carp Society. Now, there's a lot of things going on with the Carp Society. We just did the SSF, the spring, summer, fall. We did the spring version. The summer version is coming up very soon, and I have a whole week booked off from work for that, so I'm fishing every single day. But one of the things that we've done, there's so much content on there, and it's such a positive environment for anglers that, one of the actual topics that just came up from another angler in there was how negative Facebook and other social media can be versus, how positive it has been in the Carp Society's own social media site. And it's been absolutely great. Seeing the feedback, seeing the interaction among anglers, it's really been wonderful. I don't post as much as I would like to, just because I get so busy with some other things, but I'll tell you, I make a lot more effort in that site than I do on Facebook or even Instagram for that matter, just because it's a much more positive environment. It's anglers just talking about angling, carp fishing in particular, but it's just a more comfortable environment to share with these other carp anglers, and it's making a difference, in my opinion, of how we're going to get that information out. Now, one of the things that we tried not that long ago, I guess maybe 2 months ago, one of the members, James, wanted to put together a presentation, and we basically set up a Zoom meeting open to all members in the Carp Society, and he did a really, really great presentation on his favorite spot, the history about how he got into it, how they fished it, the experiences they've had in it, and their thoughts on how they would go forward with it. It was a fantastic presentation. James did a really, really great job, and those who did join in the Zoom meeting to follow that presentation all really enjoyed it, and the feedback on it was fantastic. We need to have more of those. And I'm currently working on a presentation about my park lake. Basically, 30-year love affair with this park lake. If you were to ask me, out of all the spots I fish, and I've got a lot of spots that really mean a lot to me from the time I've spent in them. It's never about the fish that you catch in them. It's just about the time you spend in them. The park lake is got to be near the top, if not the top spot, because I have such a connection to that place. It warms the heart, man. It's just one of those places that it just means a lot to me, and being there is very, very special. When I can take my son for a walk to look at the birds there, that's really, really special to me. When I can walk around like I did the other day with Dave, he had never done a stalking session with me. And even though he was following around with the camera, it was a rush just to have him there, spotting fish, being like, Dave, do you see all these fish coming in there? Just a very magical place. So I'm working on a presentation that we'll have for the Carp Society members coming up soon, hopefully soon, but it depends on how quickly I can put it together. Now, with that said, I mentioned we did the SSF. The next one is coming up July. The challenge series round 1 is currently going on. I mentioned I did mine. I lost. I got knocked out in round 1. Tyler beat me. We had a great back and forth all day long, and then he ended up getting a few bigger fish right at the end. His 4 biggest fish were bigger than mine. I think he beat me by about 30 pounds kind of near the end of our 12 hours. So great job to him. He went into that spot that, like I said, we've got a couple videos coming out from soon. I had a fantastic day. I landed 14 fish. I lost 3, 2 of which were really big. They broke me off, actually. And I had a couple catfish. Had some wonderful conversations with people passing by, checking out the equipment, seeing, the pod, the alarms. I had the brawly up. So people really looked at that and were like, yeah, this guy's fishing in comfort. And I absolutely was. I had an amazing day. Tyler had an amazing day. We had a great time. Yes, I got knocked out in round 1, but Tyler continues on, and now he's going to face some tougher competition in round 2. It's going to be interesting. I mentioned the presentations coming up. James did his. It was fantastic. I'm working on one. Hopefully we can talk a few other anglers into doing some, because, every angler that's on that site has a story to tell. Question is will they? And it could be fun. Now, with some of the other content that's on there, there's videos, there's rig videos, there's edges videos. There's also articles. There's a bunch of articles, some of which are like reoccurring. So like Paul Ferrito does his Ferrito series. Every week he's got a new article coming up on a topic of personal opinion. It's fantastic. It's some of the best reading that's on the site, in my opinion. It's great, and it's the fact that it's regular is what I think entertains me the most, because I can look forward to his next article. The Bait Baron has a couple articles up there just talking about bait and the science in bait, which is awesome. I don't understand a lot of it, but I love reading it, and it's a lot of fun. There's, a number of us have talked about kind of how we started in carp fishing. There's articles up there about that. Really, really good content. And I've written a couple kind of opinion pieces myself. I did write a beginner series one. I wrote an article about margin fishing, but I also wrote a couple that were kind of, one started out as a bit of a rant. I just got angry about a few things that have been affecting myself and other anglers that I know. And we all were kind of like, can we really believe this is happening? And why is this still happening? And it has to do with a lot of the ethics in carp fishing that I think are sadly ignored in a lot of ways. And I just put together an article that was a big rant about how to shut up and fish. Just shut up and go fishing. And people liked it. And the idea just stewed in my brain, and I couldn't let it go. And I actually wrote a follow-up article called How to Shut Up and Fish. And this article in particular takes my rant and expands on it. So all the points that I brought up in the first one, you read it, you might get mad, you might hate it, you might think I'm a jerk. Yeah, sometimes I am. But in this particular case, this article, the second part of it, expands on everything. So when I say find your own swim, it's easier said than done. It's not, people can't just go out and find their own swim a lot of times. So I put some information in there about how to go about that. And then once you've done that, the ethics that maybe you could follow to help benefit everyone, not just yourself. And that's why I wrote these pieces. So when you really look at what's on this Canadian Carp Society website, it's definitely worth the membership. There's a lot of really good content, and I've really enjoyed actually putting stuff together for it, because there's no demand to say, oh, you have to have this done or you have to have this done. It's open for all of us as members to, if we have the idea and we want it to put together, we can submit it. And if it goes on the site, great. If not, maybe it just needs to be reworked a bit. But we're all able to contribute and contribute at our own pace when we want to. It's a really, really good situation for us to be in as members. I was also recently a guest on the Carp Society's podcast. So the Canadian Carp Society has a podcast. It's had some really good ones so far with like famous people like Julian Cundiff and Simon Crow. I got to be a guest. Ben sat down with me over Zoom, of course, because of the current situation. And he just wanted to talk to me about kind of how I got into carp fishing. And so we have a nice, I think it's just over an hour-long podcast where we can get that information out there. And so if what I've said kind of catches you at all, maybe look into membership. There's some membership options there, and you get access to all that content. Now, I'm not just talking about the content that I'm doing. Like I said, the content is for all members. So if you have an idea about bait, if you have an idea about a certain rig or tactic, or you think you have an edge that kind of is what really makes you catch more fish than maybe the other people around you, why not give it a try? Submit it, become a member, look at the options that you have to contribute, and let's help build this library of content for carp anglers in Canada, because up until now, it really hasn't existed. And now we have a central hub, a positive central hub for carp anglers in Canada to contribute, to add information, and to share information and share in each other's captures and celebrate when people are having a good session. It's I can't say enough good things about my time interacting with the Carp Society, the Canadian Carp Society. It's made a big difference in my views on a lot of things, and I'm looking forward to continuing. If I hit a slump where I can't come up with any ideas, I'm fine. But if I have an idea, I know I have a place I can submit it. So yeah, really exciting. I just wanted to share that information. So if you're somebody that was thinking about joining but not really sure what you're going to get out of it, there's a little bit of insight that you won't necessarily find on the website about what's in there. Yeah, it says there's podcasts and articles and challenge series. I've just talked about my experience with some of them. Hopefully that will help you make a decision. Now, I've been talking for quite a bit there, and I've missed one comment. Marlon, greetings from Romania. Greetings back from Canada. Have you tried the polenta cube? I have not. Generally, we just stick to pop-ups, boilies, particle. Yes, I know that polenta and other baits like that can be very, very productive. If we're using our 3-rod rule, we can't use baits like that. They all have to be plant-based. If I was using 1 rod, I could, but we have an issue with catfish. Catfish like a lot of stuff like that. So I know that there are people here that use these baits, and they do catch on them, but you get a lot of bycatch, a lot of unintended species on baits like that. So we tend to stick to the ones, fruity, nutty, seed type baits that will really help focus on carp specifically. Okay, we've been going for about 45 minutes here, so we're doing well. I'm not going to go too long today, as much as I would love to stay on. Like I said, I want to go visit my mom and my grandma today, so we won't be running too long. I also have to bait up that spot for me and Kevin, and I only have about half the bait here. The other half is at his house. I have to go pick it up. All right, so one more thing. Actually, I got a couple more things to talk about. If anybody else has any other questions, throw them in the chat there, and I'll try and address them. That way I'm not just ranting through all my topics here. I do have some... hang on a second here. What's this? Dave can't get back into the YouTube chat. I wonder why. Not sure. Maybe it's just something on your screen. I'm not sure, bud. But Dave just had another upgrade fish. Really, really good news. If you do have any other questions, please drop them in there. I can't really play around to answer him back yet. While I'm waiting for you guys to come up with questions, if you have them, I have some review videos coming up. So I mentioned some of the session videos that we've done so far and some that we're working on. I have some reviews that I want to put together. I just need basically a full day where I can just sit down and just do all review videos. So probably next weekish, I'm probably just going to take a day to go sit out on the bank with all this gear and do, well, I think I got 4 or 5 of them planned. So a lot of people have asked me my thoughts on the Corda 3-rod hold all that I got with for my 10-foot rods. I'm going to do a review on that. The reason I've held off on doing the reviews is simply because I wanted to put them through their paces and I wanted to test them out. Tressa sending me emojis. I can't tell if that one is waving or flipping me the bird, but it's great to see that my wife is in the chat. Now I know that she's awake. Her and the boy like to sleep in. They're definitely night owls, and I am not. But yeah, I really put this gear through the paces. The Corda rucksack is another one. My wife got me that for my birthday last year. I have put that to the test. I have packed that so full of material. I have yet to pack it so tight that I can't actually close it. I'm amazed at what that thing can hold. The 3-rod hold all, really great positive things to put in there. Oh, looks like Zane's up too, my son. So the 3-rod hold all, I have a lot of really good positives to come up with that and a few drawbacks to it. Important drawbacks that other anglers may not know about. So I'm going to be bringing that up in a review of that product. The Signet Quick Lock Pod Kit that I got, that one I use specifically for my 10-foot rods. Really, really good product. Lots of stuff to bring up on that one. Really only have maybe 1 or 2 negative things to bring up on that, but probably 20 positives. So I'm going to do a review on that one. Also, the Witchwood Extricator MLT 10-foot cork-handled rods, as well as the Extricator 5000 FD reels that I put on them. There's been a lot of comments coming in as I've been putting out videos using those rods. I'm going to have a review for you on those ones. I was holding out until I could get into some bigger fish with it. This past week, when I had a challenge, the challenge against Tyler, I did land a 24-pounder with one of those rods. That was incredible. I fought 2 other much bigger fish that did end up breaking me off. Yeah, these rods and these reels are worth talking about. So I'm going to get some time to do a whole day of just review videos on these items so that you guys can see what I've done with them, how I'm using them, and my overall opinions. And we'll get that out there for everyone. Those videos in particular, some might have to take the regular session video schedule depending on how much I'm getting done. But the idea is those review videos will be bonus. So those will be done in the off weeks, just to make sure that we're getting the information out there, but also giving you a little bit more extra content. Dave Newman, your spelling has gotten horrible. But I think that says the Decathlon at the Maple View Mall just opened. Yeah, it's good news. Get one closer. The problem is Decathlon in Canada overall has no stock right now. So a lot of the stuff I would like to get from them right now, they don't have. Can't get it online. If you can get it on the store, great. If they don't put it online, I'm not driving all the way to Burlington to get it. So, yeah, with the reviews mentioned, I mentioned some of the products I'm going to go over there. If there's anything that you want to see a review of, if I have it, I will do it. If I don't have it, it might be something that's on my list. So feel free to, shoot me a message on Instagram or something and let me know, hey, I'd love to see a review on this particular product. If I don't have it, somebody I know might have it. I might get an opportunity to actually do a review over it if I can get my hands on it. If it's something on my list, I'm getting it anyways, so I can let you know if there's a review coming. But yeah, feel free to shoot a message over, and I can look into that. Now, I had one more topic to bring up. Not really any questions coming in. I'm surprised you guys were so active in the chat earlier. Now you're so quiet. We know Dave can't get back in. He's fishing. He's catching lumps. So I can give him let him slide with not having the comments. But I thought for sure you guys would have more questions this week or this month. So I did mention one of the article writers in the Carp Society goes by the name Bait Baron. Not sure why he uses that name. I'm going to out him right now. His name's Chris, and he is the Astute Angler. So any of you who have watched his videos on YouTube on the channel, The Astute Angler, Chris is an intelligent angler. He's a smart guy, and he's one of those people that really analyzes what he's doing. He puts a lot of effort into the analysis of bait and fish behavior in relation to bait, which is why I said his articles are fascinating to read. Some of it is just a little bit too smart for me, but I read it all the same, and I still enjoy it. Now, Chris and I have done a bait exchange. He sent me a bunch of his custom boilies. Some of it has my input as to what I was looking for in it, and I'm going to be sending him some custom pop-ups. 2 batches already I have done and ready to go. I just have to redo the batch that I really wanted to send him. So the baits that he sent me, I've got sitting on my desk downstairs, and I'm currently waiting for the spawn to finish at the Park Lake, because that's the one place I can go with crystal clear water where I can get close-up access to fish, and I want to see them react. They don't see a lot of boilies there, but I think I can get them to react interestingly to these baits, and I want to see what they do. I want to see if they nose up and move off. I want to see if the color combinations that he put together maybe trigger a different response. So I'm going to be doing an analysis of his bait in a spot that I trust with fish that I can get close-up access to. Really looking forward to that, and that will probably be, it will either turn out to be an article for the Carp Society, or it will be a video for here. I'm not sure yet. It depends on what kind of time I'm going to have to allot for that activity, that experiment. I'm doing some pop-ups for Chris. So We all know about the sweet tooth pop-ups that we came up with a couple years ago. We held that contest for naming the pop-ups, and I sent them out to the two anglers, two or three. I think Dan came up with the name, so we sent him a batch, and then there was a few other batches that went out, at least one other batch for sure, to a name that I really liked that was a close call. So far, we know that Dan has caught on them, and he caught some really good fish on them right away. I don't think I got a response from the other people they were sent to, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to be sending Chris a batch of sweet tooth pop-ups, so hopefully he can give me a good review on how they turned out for him. I'm sending him a batch of little pot of baits that I've made. I've not really talked about them much on the site or on the videos because it's not one I use a lot. I only have a few places that I like to use it, but it's kind of a sticky banoffee pop-up that I made. And it's really, really glugged in attractors that go along to complement it. I've caught well on them, but only from a few specific areas. Other areas I've taken it, it's not done as well. So I'm sending Chris a batch of those. And the infamous creation of Goldie, the vanilla formula that he came up with, we did those vanilla pop-ups, and they caught absolutely everywhere we took them. And in some cases, they outperformed every other bait we used in those locations. Now, the batch that I had left of vanilla pop-ups sadly did not last the test of time. They've been sitting in a pot in my one container for about a year. And I had kind of forgotten where I put them. And I thought they'd be fine. I opened them up. They were not fine. They didn't go moldy or anything like that, but they've lost their color and they dried out a bit. I think the container was slightly open. So I'm going to do a brand new batch of vanilla. And I'm going to send Chris some of those. And I'm going to use some myself to see if I've still got it to make that mix, because I haven't made it in a while, probably 2 or 3 years. So yeah, a nice little bait exchange going on between myself and the astute angler. And that's just something neat to do. And you know what? Like, I used to hear a lot about people doing that. When I first got into the kind of the European style carp scene that's here in Canada, as small as it was then, I did hear a lot about people doing little bait exchanges and things like that. And we've really gotten away from that. So I'd like to see that pick up again some more. So I think that's why we're going to do like either an article or a video or something about this little bait exchange that we're doing. And hopefully that'll inspire others to make some bait and maybe do one of those exchanges themselves. All right. Well, we're just coming up on an hour. If we don't have any feedback or anything coming in the chat, I'm probably going to cut this short at the hour mark. If you guys got a little bit more stuff that you want to ask or talk about, I can throw a few in there. LP, can you do a how-to center pin video with Dave? Yes. Yes, we can. I'm assuming you're wanting to do center pin fishing for carp or just center pin fishing in general. We do have center pin videos out there for carp. Excuse me, we have center pin videos out there for trout. And Dave did a how to use a center pin video, like what they are and how to use them, a while back. It is on the channel about how to use it. But when it comes down to it, if you want us to do another center pin video for carp with a little bit more of the how-to information, I don't think he's going to say no. I think it'll be pretty easy to convince him that we could put that together. So why don't I write that down? How to center pin for carp for LP. LP has offered to pay the production costs. Sound fair? Cool. All right, it's on the list. When are you coming to Florida? I was last in Florida in 1992. Don't know if I'm ever going to make it back there, but if I do, I'll drop you a message. How to cast with a center pin with carp leads. Really need to figure it out and buy myself a setup because I really love my experience last time. Done. We will work on that. We will definitely work on that, LP. Might be closer to the end of summer, maybe September when we can get to it. Oh my God. I should have turned Messenger off because it's just popping up steady today. Okay, so casting with carp leads, yeah, it's got to be done a little bit differently than you would with your regular gear. Okay. So casting, playing the fish, I'm sure you got a handle on. You're good with that. Tried to cast a few times and you did a mess every time. Yeah, it takes some practice. It takes a while. It's not something you're going to pick up in a day. Obviously, you're using heavier leads with carp fishing, so it's instead of it actually being a cast, you're doing more of a sweep, like a full body kind of sweep to get it out there, and you're never going far. So the further you try to push it, the worse you're going to do. So yeah, we'll work on that. We'll try to cover some of that. 334 outdoors. If the carp fishing wasn't so good and my fiance didn't live there, I'd stay in Alabama. Well, you could always just find the really good carp fishing in Alabama, no? Doesn't it get better there? Smashed your fingers on the handle like 25 times on the first fish. Knuckle busters, as Dave calls them. That's going to happen. You're not going to avoid that. Doesn't matter how new or how experienced you are with the center pin, you're going to get knuckle busters. It happens. But yeah, I mentioned to him that I wanted to do more. I know he's up for doing more with the center pin for carp. Yeah, we can definitely work on that some more. One thing I'll say for sure, though, with the 3-rod rule here in Ontario, don't do 3 rods with the center pin. Don't do it. You're just asking for a disaster. I think if we're going to do a center pin video again, it's going to be 1 rod each, and that's it. Because, man, the takes, the amount of line that gets peeled off, the overspin that can happen if a fish goes too fast. You know, if they just give it a wicked yank right off the bat, you can get a lot of overspin. A lot of slack comes out. If there's any kind of loops in your line at all, when they finally do take their run to tighten up, that can wrap around guides, that can wrap around your pod, it can take the whole thing in the water. So, yeah, I'm sure we can cover that just fine for you, LP. I'll tell you right now, though, we will not dub it in French. So I'm not going to make it easy for you. I'll let you type up the translation for it and send it to your friends. All right, we've just passed an hour. Is there any more questions, comments, anything you guys want to add in the chat? If you do, I'll stick it out for another 10 minutes or so. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pack it in so I can go get some of that stuff done. Like I said, I got to bait up a spot and go visit some family, spend some time with the family. I don't do that enough because I'm fishing a lot. My notebook is blowing around. Can I do it in Spanish at least? No, my Spanish is worse than my French. Although I do like Spanish food more than I like French food. So there. All right, if there's anybody other than LP that wants to chat in there, let me know. Spanish poutine. You could be onto something there. That could be good. All right, everyone. I think we're going to wrap it up for June. Yeah, it is still June. Yeah, June. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for interacting. That's why we do the live streams. It's a lot of fun to be able to sit back and chat with you guys. Hopefully I didn't chat too much over the topics. I know I get on a ramble, and I know you guys will just let me go, but I do this for the interaction. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming down the line as far as videos go, reviews going. Again, don't forget to look into the Carp Society. If the content that I mentioned and my experience with that content is something that interests you, give it a look. Canada finally has that hub, that central hub to go to. So many other countries have already got that. And I think at this point they take it for granted. They forget that, there are some of us out there who haven't had it up until now. And this is a big deal, a really big deal. And that's why some of us want to put so much attention to contributing and participating in this new central hub for carp fishing in Canada. It's long overdue. And now that we have it, kind of want to live there. You know what I mean? So definitely look into it. If you've been on the fence, hopefully I gave you enough information to help you cross through and join up. If you're still on the fence and you're not sure, drop me a message. Drop any member a message. I think you get the same kind of feedback as I gave you. So thank you again. I can never say thank you enough. I appreciate you guys all being here. It was a lot of fun and very comfortable outside to be able to do this. So hopefully we got some really good stuff coming down the line, and looking forward to your responses to it. So until next time, when we join up in July, which actually, an important point about the July live stream, we will be happening on schedule the second Saturday of July, which I believe is the 10th. I am already scheduled to be on the bank with a social going on. There should be potentially 6 or even 7 of us there during that live stream. Get your questions ready. Exactly, the SSF for July. That'll be the last weekend of that SSF, and a great competition. There's going to be a bunch of us together fishing it for, I think what we're doing is an overnighter session. So yeah, July's live stream should be exciting. We could have some live runs that happen. We could be weighing fish while it's happening. Who knows? There could be any number of things going on. I'm just going to have to make sure that my phone is fully charged and my data levels are where they need to be, because I'm anticipating that being a very, very exciting day. So July live stream is going to be killer. I will see you then.